Hey, Erica, comments on week 4 about setting goals. As I said in my comments on my email, I could only pick up the last 2 minutes of your, or 2.5 minutes of your um, video presentation. The bit I did hear, was good. You spoke about the while general, you seem goals are positive. You talk about the negative implications. You gave a very clear example, which a lot of organisations face, which is they're trying to chase money, but in chasing money, they may be undermining their mission, and that's kind of a common tension. Yeah. You talked about how to get around that. For a start, recruit the right people, and that's certainly a good start with the right motivations. There are other things that one can do as well, such as be clear about what the tensions are. Explain to staff here we actually need to survive. We need to we can't if we're not financially successful, we can't do anything, right? But recognize that trade-off. Be clear about that. There might be ways they can sort of seek to deliver in different ways, improve through programming, things like that. But it was a good post, and I think you kind of understand some of the tensions there might be in goals. The legitimacy in policing program for Simon 4.2 was good. You gave a nice logic model using the flowchart. As I mentioned in my email, that you'll see that the most logic models won't combine activities as a subset of outputs, and I'm gonna sort of correct that future. Outputs in this case would be things like the number of training that were completed, the number of forums that were held, the grid participation in them, and things like that. The things that are directly within the control of the program. Question is whether they actually bring about any of the changes that you talk about in levels 1, level 2, level 3. So it's good you sort of separated those levels. Actually, in practice, I think there will be a lot of reasons why not. So I think what you sort of underplayed in your logic there was actually maybe some of the resistance from maybe police, possibly even the community, as to is this a right approach? Is this worthwhile? What are the benefits to the police from this? Does it look as if it's going to come across as sort of let's train the police in how to be better? Does it, is that going to speak to the police agenda? How do you win them over on that? You mentioned that police participation is one of the assumptions, but it's actually a massive assumption. So, while obviously this was just in the sort of for a course, not sort of real world. In the real world, the issue is actually how do you make this logic really play out? How do you unpack those assumptions and really address them? Because actually, if some of them are just sort of leaps of faith that are not grounded in reality, the program will not go anywhere. So hopefully the practice of sort of laying things out, laying out assumptions, laying out the external factors brings some discipline in it and thinking things through. 4.3, applying the objectives to the alcohol and drug services. You laid out those sort of 5. They were goals. In some ways, they struck me as being sort of instrumental goals towards some higher achievement. And what was notably missing, I thought, was an overarching goal. Is it to reduce harm from misuse of substances, drug and alcohol? Is it to reduce the level of misuse of drug and alcohol? And those can send you down in different paths, by the way. In the UK, there's been sort of a debate. Even in the US, particularly debate about, do you give drug users safe places to inject as a way of reducing harm rather than trying to reduce incidence? And so a lot tells you about an organisation, about their approach and their strategy as to kind of what their ultimate goal is, and that was just absent there. So that was, I thought, one point could have picked up. And that I think probably actually then also there's probably some other tensions as well that you could have picked up on. You did talk. It was thoughtful. You did sort of consider the goals and objectives to what extent they fit together and things like that. So I appreciate that, but I think you could have gone a little bit further in that. So I've taken a couple of points off just for that. All right, hope that explains my grading.